Hey YouTube, it's Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters, here with a drum buying guide for parents. Okay, so I've been thinking about this video for a while, and actually I should have done this a few weeks ago because we're running out of time, and I know the holiday season is upon us, and a lot of people are looking for gifts right now. So hopefully you'll find this video in time, and this will help you out. So if you have a child that is playing the drums or wants to learn how to play the drums and you want to buy them an electronic drum set, this is the list for you. And I'm only going to give you 4 options here. And our price range is going to range from about $400 up to about $1,200 to $1,300 between these 4 drum sets. So first thing is pick your budget. The second thing is, how serious of a drummer is your child? Are they really, really into drums? Are they already playing the drums? Do they have an acoustic drum set? If so, how much are they playing that acoustic drum set? Are they driving you crazy? Are they playing every single day? If so, then they're very serious about playing, and you should consider one of the better options on this list. If they're not playing very much, or if they've never played at all, and you just don't know if they'll even like the drums, then maybe you want to consider one of the lower priced items on this list. Now, why didn't I select any drums that are even cheaper than the ones that are on here? Is because I don't think you can really get any full-sized electronic drum set of any kind of quality for less than $379. That's really the cheapest you can go. And so yeah, that's it. So another thing to consider here is, what does your child want to do with the drums? Do they want to record YouTube covers, drum covers or things like that? Do they want to play in a band? Do they want to plug it into an amplifier? So these are all things I'm going to go over on these different drum sets and what kind of advantages one has over the other. And then lastly, what type of music do they want to play? Do they want to use double bass? Double bass is, having a pedal that has, you use both feet on bass drums, and it has 2 beaters that hit the pad at the same time, or not the same time, but they go back and forth. So if they want to use double bass, one of these drum sets you're probably going to want to leave out. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's go through the list. So I've picked 4 drum sets, like I said. And the first one on the list, and the cheapest one on the list here, is the Alesis Nitro Mesh. The Alesis Nitro Mesh is an incredibly popular electronic drum set that's been around for a couple of years now. And it's very good for the money. I had one of these sets myself, and I had it for about a little bit over a year. And then I got rid of it because I built my own drum set, and I just don't have space in my apartment for 2 sets of drums. So I got rid of this one, but that was the only reason why. I just wanted to upgrade, but there was nothing wrong with it. It lasted the whole year. I never had a single problem, and it was always really, really good. And I have several drum students that play this kit, and it always works really well. Now, couple of the disadvantages, though. Like I mentioned before, if your child is interested in playing metal, and they want to use a double bass drum pedal, then they probably won't want the Alesis Nitro Mesh. The reason being is a double bass drum pedal barely fits on this bass drum pad right here, which they say that it will work. And technically, yes, you can fit most double bass drum pedals on there. But the problem is they hit really like on the outer edge of the pad here. So one beater ends up hitting here, and the other one ends up hitting here, and it just really doesn't perform very well. I tried it on mine, and that was the only real problem I had with it, that you really just can't use double bass drum pedal reliably on this drum set. So, other than that, though, it is really nice. It has a dual zone snare drum pad, and what that means is you get one sound when you hit the center of the drum, and then another sound when you hit the edge of the drum. All the other pads on the drum set are single zone, so you have one single sound for every single pad, and that includes all the cymbals and all the drums except for the snare drum. The drum module is decent. It sounds pretty good for the money. You have a lot of options that you can create your own custom sounds in there, and it's highly configurable as far as customization and sounds go. And it has a USB output that you can run to your computer for MIDI only, not for audio. That's something I'll talk more a little bit here on one of the other drum sets. Now, if you don't know what MIDI is, that's outside of the scope of this video. But a lot of people think that they're going to be able to plug that USB input into their computer and they're going to hear audio. You will not. not on this drum set. There is one on this list that you will, but it's not this one. Okay, so this one is $379, and this is the absolute best one you can get for a beginner, I think. And it sounds good, and you're going to need some headphones, but it comes with everything else as far as you'll need a seat too, but everything else it comes with the bass drum pedal, the stands. It even comes with sticks. So basically everything you need except for a seat and headphones will come with this drum set. Now let's move on to the next one. The next one is the Alesis Surge Mesh. Now the Surge is almost identical to the Alesis Nitro Mesh, except for a couple of improvements. One being the bass drum pad is much, much larger. So this pad will definitely accommodate a double bass drum pedal easily, whereas the Nitro really doesn't. It also has a larger snare drum pad at 10 inches across, whereas the Nitro is only 8 inches across. And this gives you a more comfortable playing surface on the snare drum. The toms are the exact same sizes. However, the toms are dual zone. So what that means is you have one sound when you hit the center of the drum here, and then another sound when you hit the edge, the rim, just like the snare drum. So all the drums can do this. So what this means is you have a lot more options of sounds that you can get out of the drums. To me, this is actually really worth the upgrade because you can program cymbals to rims, you can put cowbells on there, you can do more drums. It's basically like having double the amount of drums on, or at least 3 more drums on the same drum set. So it's good. It's a good upgrade, I believe. Now the cymbals are exactly the same. They don't have any more zones. All the cymbals are still single zone. But at $549, it is still a very good deal. And another thing is the rack, that's this metal thing that it stands on, is higher than the Alesis Nitro. So if you have a tall child, I'm 5'11", and I could play the Nitro. It was low, but I could play it. But if you like to set the drums up higher, the Surge is going to be better because it has a higher rack. And if they're interested in playing double bass and metal, then the Surge is the Surge is a must, in my opinion, as far as that goes. Now, those are the 2 budget kits that I selected. They have the same exact sounds, though, and that's one thing I forgot to mention, is the module is exactly the same. The module is the thing that makes all the drum sounds itself. This is not any different at all. It just says Surge. That's the only difference. They both have the same USB output. They both have audio outputs, headphone outputs, and an auxiliary input where you can plug in like an MP3 player or your phone or something like that and play along to music. Everything is exactly the same. Sounds exactly the same, but you get more pads. Okay, so hopefully that was clear on all of that. Let's move on. The next drum set on my list, and this actually is my number 1 pick overall, is the Roland TD-07. This is a new kit for this year. It's $999, and bang for your buck, I think this is the best one on the list. Now, there's a couple of reasons why. Number 1 is the module. The module of this drum set sounds really nice for under $1,000. I mean, technically, it's over $1,000 once you pay tax and all of that. But even though this module is very simple looking, it is a very nice sounding module. And the reason why is because they use a lot of the same samples in this module that Roland uses in their flagship module, the TD-50. And another really great thing about this module, now you'll look at the back here, it looks very simple and very basic. It only has one output for headphones and audio, and then a mix input, and then USB computer. However, this USB computer is audio USB, not just MIDI. So you can plug this into your computer and select this as your audio input in a program like Audacity or Pro Tools or some other recording software. And you can record the audio directly out of the module to your computer without it using any, extra plugins or anything like that. So this to me is a really, really nice feature. I think that's a really, really great feature. And none of the other drum sets on this list actually have this. Another thing is the build quality of Roland stuff is absolutely excellent. You know that if you buy a Roland drum set, it's going to last you many years, and it's going to be really well made, and it's going to hold its value. That's another really good thing about Roland stuff is Alesis, you know, the way to look at this is Roland is kind of like Mac and Alesis is kind of like PC. I'm not saying that PCs are worse than Macs, but you know, if you buy a good Apple computer, you can sell it in a couple of years and still make some money off of it. And you can do the same with Roland drums. I have a Roland TD-8 module on my drum set that was made in 1999, and these things still sell for about $350 to $400. So that should tell you, you know, just something, you know, how good Roland's resale value actually is. Now, you're not going to get the pedals. Well, you'll get the hi-hat pedal. Sorry if I'm being unclear, but the hi-hat pedal is this one over here on the left, but the bass drum pedal you will need to buy with the TD-07. As far as the differences of pads, now the Surge actually beats this one out in a couple of ways, whereas these tom pads are only single zone, but the snare pad is dual zone. However, the cymbal pads are both dual zone on the TD-07. So it kind of balances it out, and honestly, I'd almost rather have dual zone cymbals than dual zone toms. And the reason being is you get more expressiveness out of playing the cymbals. You know, like say on a ride cymbal, you can crash the ride cymbal and get like almost more like an acoustic drum set, whereas on the Alesis ones, you get just kind of a one-dimensional sound on the cymbals themselves. Now, the drum set sound overall is going to be much, much better on the Roland TD-07. So that's pretty much it. I mean, another good feature of this is it has Bluetooth audio. Now, I don't want you to get confused, though, about Bluetooth audio. This does not mean that you can put on Bluetooth headphones and listen to what you play. A lot of people think that on these electronic drum sets, and they never work this way. And the reason is because Bluetooth audio has too much latency. And what that means is the time it takes from when you hit the drum to when it gets to the headphones is going to be delayed, and that's going to make it impossible to play on time. So the purpose of the Bluetooth is actually to send audio in, like a song that you can play to, and then listen to it in the headphone output from the module. So that's one bit of confusion a lot of people have with Bluetooth connections on drum sets. Now, to me, Bluetooth really isn't that important. I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's not like a deal breaker. But this one does have it, so it's there if you want it. Now, let's move on to the next set. The next set, we're going up to, oh, I forgot to mention the price, or maybe I did. This one's $999, and bang for your buck, I still think it's the best, and they are selling out. There's only 2 left right now. Oh, there's going to be links to all this stuff down below, too. Let me put that up on the screen here. But they're selling out. This just came out this year. It's Roland's newest set, and they released it just for Christmas, basically, and it's a good set. Anyway, let's move to the next one, which is the TD-17KVS. And you're paying $300 more on this one. And this one has even more features, and this one's a definite upgrade, very professional quality drum set. So if you have a serious player on your hands, this is probably the one to get them. It's a couple years older than the TD-07, but you have some options. You have some features here that lack from the TD-07. One, you have a much larger snare drum, and then this snare drum is dual zone like the TD-07, but here we have dual zone toms, whereas the TD-07 only had single zone toms, and we also have dual zone cymbals. So we're getting a lot more sounds out of this drum set than you would out of the TD-07. As well as the drum module is the TD-17 drum module. Now, in terms of sound quality, they're very similar. I wouldn't say this one actually sounds any better than the TD-07 because they both use samples from Roland's flagship kit, which is the TD-50. So they sound very similar, but this one is going to give you more customization options as well as more hands-on controls and then more outputs in the back. You have 2 analog left and right outputs, and you can do a mono output you can plug into an amplifier, or you could run from the USB out only to MIDI on this one, like the other Alesis sets. This is before that USB audio feature was implemented, so you're only looking at MIDI output on this one, but Not really a deal breaker because you do have the audio outputs that you can plug into a computer. However, you will need an audio interface to record those audio outputs on your computer. The beauty of the TD-07 is it eliminates the need for the USB audio interface. A good USB audio interface is going to cost you $150, $200. So that's something to consider as well. However, this is still a really, really great kit, and this would last a really long time. Like the TD-07, you still need to buy your own bass drum pedal, but also like the TD-07, this will accommodate a double bass drum pedal as well. So the only one that really won't accommodate a double bass drum pedal is the Alesis Nitro. Even though, like I said, they say that it will, but it does so poorly that I can't really recommend it for that. The TD-07, though it's not Roland's highest end drum set, it is a very nice set. A lot of even some of their high-end kits, like the VAD series, come with this same exact drum module. The VAD 306, which is about $3,400, comes with this same exact drum module. So it's a really, really high-quality drum set. Of course, you're paying more of a premium here, but it's not even Roland's most expensive set. But anyway, these 4 drum sets, I think, are the best gift ideas, in my opinion. There's other ones out there, but I would stay away from kind of the lesser brands like Simmons or some of these lesser known, no-name brands you see on Amazon. I would avoid most of those. These 4 kits you're not going to go wrong with, whether it be the $379 Alesis Nitro Mesh or the $1,299 Roland TD-17KVS. Now, another thing I should mention is the Roland TD-17 has a lot of different options. Now, the KS I do not recommend, which is right here. And the reason being is this one, for the money of the KS, you're better off going with the TD-07 because this one has rubber pads for the toms, first off, and it's just not as good as far as the pads and the drums themselves go. The TD-07 I think is a much better deal than the TD-17KS. The KVS, however, though, is a very, and I don't understand why they have these two as the same price. This one should definitely be cheaper. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on those. Avoid the KS for the 17. KVS is the way to go. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, and like. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Post them down below. I'll do my best to answer. There's a lot more drum sets out there, but I wanted to keep it simple. These 4 kits you can't go wrong with, and there's links to buy all of them down below. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Later.